Hello, my name is Tulsa, and today I want to talk to you about something that I worry about all the time. And my friend Yaz here, he worries about it too. We have a couple of buddies that sometimes come in the house, but mostly live outside. Blanca and Coochie. They're cats. Now that we're coming up on Halloween, we are very concerned. Maybe I should just let Blanca speak for himself.
Hello, my name is Blanca. I'm very camera shy, so I'm not going to look at you. I have one thing to say. I am not food. Please don't eat me.
Yeah, you're right. Don't eat my cats. So, I'm going to talk about two different things. Of course, we're making references to what's going on in Springfield, Ohio. Why would I do this? For a lot of reasons. I know that there's a lot of people who watch this channel that actually eat cats. And there's a lot of people that watch this channel that live in Ohio and eat cats. But of course, it's not this kind of cat that you're eating. It's catfish, right? So we're going to be talking about that and poaching. Really, we're just talking about unvetted immigration, illegal aliens. That's what we used to call it, right? And other things. But yeah, really, I'm just taking a break from cleanup because we went through Hurricane Francine last night, and he was in and out of the house. The other cat, Coochie, the tortie, her name is Coochie. She doesn't like to come in, but she was safe. She was back and forth on the porch and up at the door and just hiding underneath the house mostly through the night. But he came in and out because he's not scared of being inside. He likes coming inside, prefers to be outside, but likes to come in and visit. So Halloween is coming up, right? And every time we get close to Halloween, I get nervous about him specifically because he's a black cat. There is this trend. Some years it's bad, some years it's non-existent, but people over the years have started to kill black cats when you get close to Halloween. I don't understand it fully, but I have some ideas. I think it's related to voodoo and Santeria, which is what I think might be going on with the possibility of people eating cats in Springfield. But let's get out of the kitchen because my cuppa is not in here. All right, got my cuppa. Yeah, you're right. So we've got something going on here. Blanca and Tulsa are having a conversation. It's heavy ended on Tulsa's side. Tulsa, leave him alone. Yeah, you're right. It's okay. She gets a little jealous sometimes. But they get along, right? So I worry about my cats because they're outside cats. They were raised outside. When I moved here, they just showed up, right? And I started feeding them, and we became buddies, right? And occasionally I'll bring them inside. The female does not like coming in here. She freaks out. But she's super friendly to me outside. She just prefers to not be inside anywhere. My goodness, are you just gonna talk over me the whole time? Yeah, you're right. Hold on. Let's fix something here. Got it fixed. So in this country, we don't have a tradition as Americans of eating cats and dogs, right? But it's happened here, and it happens here. People do eat cats and dogs here. They're not celebrated, right? It's really frowned upon. It's not a part of our tradition. It's not a part of our culture in this country, right? There might be a lot of cultures and traditions here, but nobody as a group stands up and says, we need rights for people who eat cats and dogs. It's just not cool. Like, you're never going to see it served at a restaurant legit, right? But over the years, there have been incidents where people were caught serving meat that they shouldn't have been serving in their restaurant. And people over the years have been caught eating things that they shouldn't be eating. Like, you know, getting a neighborhood cat and then it's in the pot, or a dog or something like that. It's just, but there are other places where it's really common, right? That China and other countries, they eat dogs and cats. It's not just China and other countries over around China, all over the place. For me personally, I've lived in a lot of places in this country where I would come across animal sacrifice, and it had to do with Santeria and voodoo, right? Both those are practiced in Haiti, mostly voodoo, but there is Santeria, and you will encounter people sacrificing animals within those beliefs, also eating animals. Well, lots of people eat animals, but you know what I mean, like cats. I know cats specifically are eaten in Haiti over a period of time during a holiday, you know, around a special holiday, and as a tradition which was built up around that. So they're a sacrificial animal, and they're a traditional food item for holidays there. But it's related to like voodoo, Santeria type spirituality and beliefs, that kind of thing, right? Spooky. I've encountered situations like this in New York and other places where there were a lot of practitioners of Santeria. You would come across animals that had been sacrificed and were left there, like beheaded chickens. I remember one time I was walking through the Lower East Side down Avenue A, and I came across these drawers stacked on the corner, and I recognized the drawers to be belonging to an antique chest of drawers, right? So fairly old. And at the time, that's what I did for a living. I scavenged furniture that was old, refinished it, and sold it on in consignment shops. It's one of my hustles, right? And I was like, holy smokes, look at those drawers. Those are old. Man, I wish the rest of it was here. So I was inspecting them. You know, maybe I could take the knobs. Maybe I could bring the drawers home and use them for other things. You know, part them out. Because the work on these drawers was good, like duct work and everything, the joints, everything was fine. But there was stuff in them. It's just like two drawers right there on the corner. And it was kind of dark. I couldn't see things, and I reached in there and I was pulling stuff out. It was like junk, and I touched something wet, and it was furry, and it had a wire on it. I picked it up, and this girl was with me that I was dating at the time, and she freaked out. It was like there were cat legs with coat hangers wrapped around them in there. And I thought, dang, that is some effed up Santeria bullshit is what that is. Possibly, right? Things like that exist. So, knowing all what I know, I would say, even though there's not a lot of factual and video evidence, except for police reports and one video, there's not a lot of evidence that points to a huge problem of people eating cats. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Definitely could be a lot of people eating cats. There's more evidence of people poaching in Springfield, Ohio, in public parks. Now, this is an issue that has popped up throughout time in this country. People harvesting ducks and geese out of the local park. Now, there's different laws that you're breaking here when you do that. It's not just that you're hunting without a license. You may not have a hunting license, but it is illegal to hunt or to harvest fowl within the city limits. Like, that would be considered wild fowl. So if you're just walking up and grabbing it by the neck, you're technically hunting, you're within city limits, and those are protected birds. So there's all kinds of laws you're breaking there. And some people are like, oh, with this photo, right, that may not have been in Springfield, may have been in Columbus, it was definitely Ohio. You know, some dude walking down the street. He may be Haitian, he may not, but he's got a goose. And people are like, well, maybe he hunted it. Well, he probably did. Maybe he didn't. Maybe someone gave it to him. But it's not the right season to be hunting legally. And there's just not a lot of legit ways to excuse that. Something's wrong there. We don't know the facts. We don't know what happened there, but there's enough. Just the photo itself is enough to make you ask questions and think something's wrong, something's off. Now there's just a lot of evidence, like in police reports and things like that, of people poaching ducks and geese out of the park. What there's a ton of with the cat thing and the dogs too, but it's mostly cats and birds out of the park. What there's a ton of coming out of Springfield, Ohio right now is anecdotal evidence. People saying this and that there was a van driving around, it had 100 cats in it, things like that. Maybe not, but there's just so much of it. It goes to show that there's got to be a grain of truth there somewhere, right? Doesn't necessarily have to be that way, but there's got to be some truth somewhere. There's one video of a drunk or crazy lady, maybe Haitian, who killed a cat in public and started to eat it. Is that where it starts from? Maybe. Did the goose thing start with the one guy? So one person could do this and it goes from one bean to a hill of beans, right? Maybe there's more than one person poaching, but there's enough people poaching and enough people eating cats to make it look like a lot of people are poaching and a lot of people are eating cats. Is there a problem there with people eating cats and poaching birds out of the park? Seems like there is some sort of problem, but how widespread and how big of a problem it is, we can't really say right now. But it definitely points to something is off in Springfield, Ohio. You do further digging, such as I have done, and you realize what is up. I'm sure you know. Unvetted immigration. There's a lot of Haitians. Haitians have a protective status now. The Biden administration gave them that, but they just came across the border. They didn't like come here through a program. They just walked across and then got this, and they're, you know, they got full benefits, food stamps, all kinds of things. They're given medical, but they're getting driver's license, and it seems like they're getting them pretty easy and pretty fast. I mean, where I live, I've never had a driver's license, and it's difficult for me to start it here because I have to go to a driving school. If you've never had a driver's license in Louisiana, I'm not grandfathered in. I'm not old enough to where I don't have to go to school. Since I've never had a driver's license, I have to go to a driving school, and there are no driving schools in the town I live in, and it's kind of a man-made island. It's difficult to get out of here if you don't have a vehicle. So it's not easy, right? But these people are getting their driver's license really fast, driving, and it becomes apparent that a lot of them don't know how to drive or suck at it. There's a lot of problems, like accidents and things like that. They're driving without insurance too, in a lot of cases. There's issues. What is it? Is it unvetted immigration? Yes. Is it a numbers game? Yes, because you have a few illegal immigrants come to an area and you might not notice any problems that they're causing. Someone like me at the right time and right place may see it, because I have before. Poaching. A lot of times when people come here illegally from another country, they want to go fishing or hunting, and they don't bother to get a license because maybe they can't, because they don't have any ID, because they dumped it at the border or whatever. So they do it illegally. there's plenty of people born and raised in this country who do the same thing. They're stubborn. They always have something to say. Oh, I don't need to get a fishing license because I fish at night. You do. But I fish at night. I don't really... You need to get your fishing license. Oh, it costs too much. It's only like 20-something bucks or 30-something bucks, you know. Blah, 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 blah. So, you know, eventually they get busted. But they're an American. They have ID, so they get the ticket. But this other person, does he get the ticket or whatever? Maybe. Some places there's a lot of enforcement. Other places there's no enforcement. You know, like you can fish in certain areas, like maybe this area of Louisiana, fish for a long time. 2 years later, you run into wildlife enforcement, and you're like, "Whoa! This is the first time I've been asked for my fishing license." Right? Other places like Wisconsin, whenever I go to Wisconsin to fish, it's like I get asked almost every day, every other day. Some places are good about that, other places are not. I don't know what's going on in Ohio. Let us know down in the comments, because I know there's a lot of fans of this channel in Ohio. So it's a numbers game, right? When you have a large amount of people come to an area from another area, whether they're legal or illegal, whether they came from Haiti, Africa, Central America, South America, Mexico, or Houston. You get enough new people in an area over a very short amount of time, things are going to happen. Problems are going to occur. There will be some poaching. There will be some people fishing without a license. There will be traffic problems. You know, people driving real bad. People speeding through the neighborhoods because they're in a hurry. People cutting corners, going through parking lots at 50 miles an hour. Maybe hitting a dog or someone jogging with their AirPods on. Things of that nature, right? Drugs, prostitution, crime. Whenever a large amount of people come to an area in a short amount of time, there's going to be problems. It's called a numbers game. You know, eventually things are going to happen because there's enough people for it to happen, right? That's what that's about. And I think that's what's going on essentially in Springfield, Ohio, is that you have a large amount of unvetted people all of a sudden go into this one small town, and they're from another country where the laws are very different because they don't exist in a way, because Haiti's very lawless. And there's traditions that do exist there that are definitely not celebrated here, right? So you're going to have a conflict. And a lot of times people just are not versing themselves on what are the regulations of where I'm at now. It can be daunting when you go from like Louisiana to Wisconsin, or Louisiana to Minnesota, or Louisiana to California to fish, and you have to verse yourself with the regulations there, because it can be a world of difference. But it can be done basically easy if you're just doing basic fishing, right? If you're going to get more complicated, maybe there's a lot more to learn. But if you're just doing basic fishing, it's not that difficult. But there is a learning curve, right? Maybe it's more difficult with the language barrier. Does not mean you excuse this behavior, right? It has to be corrected. If you don't correct these types of these problems, these behavioral problems, and you know, these problems in general, things get out of control. So in the area that I live in, we're experiencing similar things. We don't have an influx of Haitians eating our cats, poaching our park ducks, our geese, because we don't have Canadian geese, but we do have geese in other public parks. You know, they live there, and we have swans and things like that. I think that would be horrible. Maybe it's happened here before. It probably has occurred over time. But we do have a large influx of new people coming in for work that's down the road. And they're starting up shop. They're making this their base. Maybe a semi-permanent situation, but we have a lot of new people living here. We have problems. We have a lot of people that just are coming through. They're not going to stay. So we have a lot of problems with people fishing without license all of a sudden. We have a bit of an uptick with drugs. It was really worse in the beginning of this construction project. We had an uptick with drugs and prostitution. Down there on the job site, it's a little better now. We have an uptick with drunk drivers, aggressive drivers, drivers that don't give an F. We have an uptick with rent. So we have more car wrecks, we have higher rent, and they have that in Springfield, Ohio as well. The rent going up because these people are like all looking to rent, and landlords know that they can charge more to these people. It's unclear if the government's paying the rent. But when there's an influx of people with money coming in, whether it's money that's going to keep flowing or money that's just there for the moment, there's always going to be somebody who can be like, oh, these people really want a place to live and they have money. I can get rid of Sue, who's lived here forever, and get in Abby Bobby and charge him 6 extra dimes. You know what I mean? Charge more money. That's going to occur. That's occurring here. It's a numbers game. I'm not saying that there's a lot of illegals coming through my area, and I'm not saying that they are or they're not. Blah, 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 blah. I'm having a blah, blah, blah moment. Basically, yeah, there could be illegals coming through because we've had an open border for like 3.5 years. So there's definitely illegals coming through here. But the growing pains here, the numbers game here, is not just illegals. It's just we have all of a sudden over a short period of time a large amount of people here now over a very short amount of time, like 2 years. It's just grown, and so they're flowing through. The arteries are getting clogged. Problems are occurring. Springfield, Ohio is another story. It's a different story. I want to see that get better. I don't like thinking about or worrying about people trying to eat my cats, that, you know, because I would love to get my cats to live inside, but they don't want to because they were born as feral cats outside, and now they're really like indoor out. Well, they're not feral anymore, and I worry about them as we should worry about our animals, our pets. We don't want people to hurt them. We don't want people to eat them. We don't want people to kill our black cat around Halloween because of some superstition, right? It's just, yeah. But why? Why are we in this predicament where we have to worry about these things? Well, because a large amount of people over the last 3.5 years have been flowing across the border unvetted. We don't know who they are. Some are good, some are bad. Sure, because it's a numbers game. When a large amount of people come through and you're not taking details, asking names, a lot of those people could be good, some are going to be bad. And that's where we're at. Don't eat my cats. Thanks for watching.